We're going to talk about the power of affirmations. Some of you are familiar with the idea, especially those of you who are inside our Supernatural Love Academy, where we've been talking about this a lot, and we're going to talk about it today too, because although I'm going to explain it to you shortly, it's actually something that takes a bit of time to really master, to really get a hold of. And even then, it really helps to be part of a community like ours in Academy, where I'm constantly discussing this, and people in our Academy group on a regular basis are affirming for each other. That's the other cool thing, when you understand the power of your thoughts, that you can actually manifest not just for yourself, but other people, like for family, loved ones, friends, because that is in truth how powerful we are. We have the ability to create anything in our reality that we want to experience just through harnessing the power of our thoughts. Okay, so the power of affirmation really begins with the understanding that you are that powerful, that your thoughts create, that if they're thought upon long enough, that they take hold, they become part of your belief system. And therefore you start creating your reality from that. Now, you're already creating reality right now, obviously, because you have things happening to you, or you've had things happen to you. But where the power of affirmations comes in is starting to understand that we all have beliefs about ourselves, okay, ourselves, like who we are, that are not always based on fact or truth, but based on other people's perceptions that we've taken on as our truth, that we assume to be true, right? Then we also have beliefs about life that we assume to be true, again, based on our experience, direct experience of life, and also what we've been told, like how life should be, or what to expect. And all those form your beliefs or assumptions about reality, about who you are and how life is, or even things like how people might be, right? Like how people might behave. So your expectations, your assumptions of how people are will be proven to be true, not because it necessarily is inherently true by itself, but because you believe it's true. So to understand the power of affirmations, you have to start to kind of unpack all this and start looking at, well, how am I creating my experience, and what do I really believe? And if I don't like that, the outcome of the beliefs, let's say, for example, if you have self-limiting beliefs about yourself that affects your self-concept, your identity, and it creates insecurity and fear, or even self-loathing, like you believe that you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or smart enough, or whatever, that is going to be reflected in your outer reality. In other words, if you believe you're unattractive, you could even manifest people telling you that, because the people that you see in front of you, everyone outside here, is an extension of you. It's everyone is you pushed out. That is a phrase that they use in manifestation circles, where people are studying manifestation. Everyone is you pushed out. It doesn't mean literally that they're you. What that means is your assumptions about who you are, who they are, what life is you pushed out, like out here where you could see it in front of you, reflected to you through how people treat you, how they talk to you, how they behave. Whatever you see is you, your assumptions about reality, about yourself, about the world out there. That's you. Okay. So if you want to change what's out here, what you see reflected, then you have to change your inner dialogue, your inner belief, your assumptions about yourself and the world around you, right? So how this relates to spirit communication, it has everything to do with spirit communication, because it's the same thing. Anything that you want to manifest, that you want to experience in this reality, or even on the other side, because trust me, on the other side, I know this is what spirits told me, this is what Alan's shown me. They know this already. They know that their thoughts create. So when you're non-physical, you just think of, well, he's showing me He's showing me a hot dog because he used to like Costco hot dogs. So he's showing me, hey, if I want to eat a hot dog, I just think of a hot dog. It's right here. I just think it's here. But in this reality, we have to work on that, right? We don't get to think a hot dog into existence, but we could, let's say, think about it strong enough. Like, I really want a hot dog. Somebody's going to get me a hot dog. I really want a hot dog. We could suddenly find that our son calls us up and says, hey, Mom, I was at Costco and I had this feeling that should get you a hot dog and I'm bringing it over. I could manifest something like that if I really wanted to and believe that that was possible. Okay, that's an example of how thoughts can create. About if I affirmed it, if I believe that I can do that, that I believe that that's what I wanted, that I could manifest that. All right, so affirmations are something that we do in the form of declaring, stating what we desire, what we believe, and in doing so, it manifests instantly in the non-physical realm. Okay, immediately. Every thought that you think manifests. You will not necessarily see it right here. You could, depends, but it won't manifest right here normally, right here in the moment. But eventually, if you think it upon it long enough, it's going to show up. However, it shows up in the non-physical realm instantly. Okay. It's a good thing it doesn't show up right away here, because we would be in a big mess if everybody thought instantly something, disastrous, something that they really didn't want, but they were messing around or in a bad state and they kept thinking about something negative, and that showed up. Okay, so we're like little kids trying to figure out how to play with this fire without burning down the house, how to use it creatively to in a constructive manner, to build something, to fan the flames of that creativity, if you will. So I just want you to start reflecting on, what are your predominant thoughts? What do you think about all day? And are you like that most people, kind of lazy or sloppy in your thinking? You let your thoughts go all over the place. And I don't want to get you all worried about, well, I don't want to think something unwanted and then it just manifests. It doesn't work like that. It's not like you have this, let's say, one, I'm going to say, really negative thought maybe about yourself, and then that means it's going to happen inevitably. No, if it's a predominant thought, it's like a pattern of thought that you think, let's say, poorly about yourself, you think that you're not good enough, smart enough, etc., then yeah, that's going to be reflected. You're going to meet people that treat you that way, because that's in your field. That's in your energy field. That's in your consciousness. And so that has to show up in how people treat you, how they talk to you, in every way, like down to how the person at the supermarket when you're at the checkout line, how they talk to you, okay, in many different ways. So your thoughts are powerful. You're already creating. You're already doing that. You're just doing it unconsciously. You're not aware of the power of your thoughts, because chances are your parents, your teachers, and nobody told you this. You might have read about it and learned it, and that's great if you did. But for many of you, it's maybe your first time. What are you talking about? Okay, I've heard that idea, but I don't get it. I've heard this idea of thoughts create, but I don't get it. How am I doing that? Right? Well, you are doing that, but it's, again, on an unconscious level. So my advice to you, if you want to start using affirmations for any purpose, including spirit communication, is to start being aware of, where are your thoughts predominantly. Now, the thing is, this can't be just your conscious thoughts, because you've got unconscious thoughts running too. Unconscious, remember I talked about beliefs. So you're not consciously thinking about your beliefs all day, every day. You're not. Your beliefs are there as a foundation. So for example, if you believe that everybody loves you, and by the way, that's a good one to have. Like, everyone loves and adores me. Everybody's nice to me. Everyone is kind to me. Everyone is supportive of me. If you have that belief and it's really solid, then very, very rarely are you going to meet anybody who doesn't treat you like that. So if you are finding that your outer reality is showing that it's just a whole mess, right? Of people being nice to you, sometimes people being rude to you. Sometimes, what does that mean? So there are assumptions or beliefs you have that are kind of a mixed bag that you may believe, yeah, sometimes people are nice to me and sometimes they're really crappy to me. And so that's what's going to show up. So if you want to have a more consistent experience, then let your thoughts, your beliefs be more consistent, be more aligned. And you can do this so simply by starting to just affirm, for example, what I just said, like everybody's nice to me. In fact, that's a good one for everybody to practice. It's really simple. Just affirm for a few days by repeating that statement to yourself. Everybody loves me. Everybody's nice to me. Everybody wants to help me, whatever that is. And keep thinking that or saying it out loud, repeating it to yourself for about, let's say 10 minutes twice a day. And you can use, there's a phone app you can use, it's free. It's called Parrot. I will in the group drop an image of it. It's on, I believe it's on iPhone and on Android. And it basically parrots back your words so that you can record your affirmation, play it back. It helps you just keep it in your mind and repeat it in your mind, like you're saying it. Don't just listen to yourself saying the statement. You want to repeat it mentally or out loud. You want to repeat along with the recording, okay? So that's your homework. Like do that 10 minutes twice a day at least, okay, for 10 minutes, and see if you notice the difference. Like, are people being nicer to you? Even if it's just a little bit nicer to you, if it happens just a little bit more often than it used to, that's going to start happening more often if you really start programming your subconscious that this is how people treat you. They won't have a choice but to be nice to you. Almost. They'll feel like, I don't know why I got to be nice to this person, because that's just how it is. That is just how it is. So prove it to yourself with something really simple like that. And when you prove that, then you'll be able to even hold the idea that, well, maybe I can affirm that I can communicate with my loved one on the other side. You know, that one is a big one for a lot of you. So if you want to start with that one first, that's fine. But my recommendation would be to start with something that's a little bit, less, let's say, big for you, right? It's just so your heart's desire, right? You want to start with something that is a stepping stone. Like, okay, I will affirm whatever that is, that people are nice to me, or maybe that, what's else he's telling me? He says to me, if you're dealing with grief, you can affirm something like that's going to make, because all these affirmations will help you feel better because they're the truth. You're telling yourself something positive that's going to uplift you and raise your vibration. So you could affirm that it's possible for you to connect with your loved one. I was going to say that you can connect with your loved one, but for some of you that might be too big of a step too. So you could start with saying it's possible, or you could affirm that it's easy for me to communicate with my loved one on the other side. Whatever feels right to you, it has to feel comfortable to you. If it doesn't, then start with the baby steps. Say, okay, I affirm it's possible. It's possible. I know it's possible. I believe it's possible, right? Whatever feels comfortable. If you can go right into, I know I can communicate with my loved one on the other side. I know I can communicate with so-and-so, say their name. Then you can affirm that, right? Keep affirming it, because you are basically programming your subconscious to deliver you that manifestation. That's how it works. However, your subconscious is also dealing with a lot of other beliefs you have in there. So if you believe in your subconscious that this is difficult, or it's impossible, or the spirit world is a scary place, or it's wrong for me to do this, then you have to overcome that, or at least the affirmation is going to have to get so much stronger than those limiting beliefs for it to play out in your outer reality. Okay, so if you already know that you have, for example, a lot of religious programming, nothing against religion, okay, but Let's just face it. Anything that's man-made, and religion is man-made, okay? Let's be clear. God didn't come down from the heaven and say, here's the religion, everybody. I mean, there were humans in a body who said, well, this is the belief that God said, or I got when I went up to the mountaintop. Okay. All the information that religions are based on is channeled. Do you guys understand that? The Bible is a channeled piece of writing, beautiful as and imperfect as it is imperfect because a human interpreted it. And do we really, really believe that centuries ago, humankind was enlightened and they could be clear channels and not have their personal biases and belief systems embedded in the information? Come on. Does that make any sense at all? No. So I'm not denigrating or putting down religion. I just want you to understand that it was human created, okay, channeled by somebody in a body. It wasn't the word of God that just floated down from heaven and opened up to us, okay? Alan's saying to me, there was always politics involved, always human greed, ego. Come on, it was worse back then. It was not better, far, far worse. And so we just have to get real here. Okay, so you can break through all that conditioning, that programming, and go direct to God, to the creator, to Jesus, to whoever your religious icon is, and it's all good, it's all perfect, whether it's the archangels, whoever it is, okay, it's all real, it's all good. But let's understand real clearly that religions set themselves up to be the gateway, the toll booth, if you will. You can't get through to God and the afterlife or heaven unless through us. You cannot talk to God directly. Who says you can? Because you are God. But very few of them are saying that, are they? They're not telling you, well, you're God. They're saying, no, you're lowly, you're sinful, you're flawed. And yeah, you are, because you're in a body. And so you have a personality and an ego, and that goes with the package. You know, you came here to have a human experience, which means you're going to have limitations. But that doesn't mean that you're unworthy. It doesn't mean that you are not God in a physical body. In fact, you came here to remember that. So you can affirm that. In fact, that's one of the first affirmations we encourage our Academy members to focus on, is just to affirm that I am God. I am God. I am God. I am all that is. I am one with all that is. You will notice that if you affirm over and over, I am, which is basically saying, I am God, I am who I am all that is, that you feel better, you feel lighter. That is the ultimate truth of saying that you are God. That is, because that is who you are. Don't you think your loved one on the other side, that they've returned to that full knowing of knowing that I am God? They know they are God. So the more you know that, the more you accept that, the more you live from that truth, the easier the communication with them becomes. Doesn't that also make sense? That if you're more aligned with the truth of who you are, then it becomes easy, because you know that you can do this. You know that you can do, be, and have anything because you are God, simply because you exist. You don't have to earn it. You all deserve it. Nobody is better than anybody else. Nobody is less than anybody else. You're all equal. And that's just how it is. So start thinking about what you want to create. Start with an affirmation that is simple for you to hold. It could be I am. It could be I easily communicate with, so fill in the blank, my loved one in the spirit world, or it's easy for me to embrace the truth of who I am, to live as who I am. That's a powerful one too, just to be you authentically, without apology, without being, concerned what others think, right? Like who cares? Just do you, be you. You're the only you right now on the planet. And the more you can be authentic, the more you can be all of who you are, the easier life will be for you. And definitely the easier you'll find be able to connect with the spirit world, because they are nothing but authentic, completely authentic. So the more you can be that, then your light vibration, you're lining up with that energy, with their energy. Okay, so go in that direction. Let go of your fears. If you have them, then process them, then feel the fears and talk to yourself about it. This is another thing we coach our academy members about doing, like when they start worrying about, well, maybe I can't connect with my partner or my loved one. And this is not, everybody else can, but not me. like I'm the only one that will fail at this, that they not let themselves go down that negative path of thinking, but take control and start talking back to themselves as if they're their best friend. Like, what would your best friend say? Or what would we say to them, right? We'd say to them, of course you can do this. You're perfect, just like everybody else. You're God, remember? So everything's available to you. You can do anything. It's just up to you. It's all in your mind. Nobody's holding you back but you. So if you don't want that, then don't have that negative outcome. If you want something that you want, then go for it. Just hold on to it. Just know that it's there. Like I said before in some of our lives, like, you want what you want, then be delusional. Say, I have it, I already have it. It's already done. It is done in the spirit world. It's already accomplished. So you lean into that reality that this is already given to me. It's already manifested for me. And you just live, if it maybe even daydream that it's already here. And sooner or later, it has to manifest, because that's the power of your thoughts, of your affirmations. Okay. So again, an affirmation is simply a statement, right, of a experience, of a truth that you experience, that you believe to be true, that you believe to be, that you say is true. You say it's true, then it is true. If you say it's not true, it's not true. You get to decide. It's your reality. It's your life. You get to choose the rules. You get to decide. And if you think about it, isn't this the opposite of what you and I were taught? Were we ever taught, you get to set the rules, you get to decide, it's all up to you? No, because the powers that be didn't want us to know our power or our truth. They didn't want us to be liberated, but those times are gone. They're over. This is the age of people taking their power, understanding who they really are, and claiming it. So when you do that, it will become easier for you to communicate with anyone through the veil. And I mean anyone, just not your loved ones, but anyone in